back to another episode of Guitar Talk with Todd here at Todd Beebe Music. Thank you so much for checking in and joining me today. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner and help me out. You know I appreciate it. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, so hit that subscribe button, help me out. You know I appreciate it. And thank you so much to all of you who are already on board with me. Love each and every one of you. We always have everything going on here. Guitar reviews, product reviews, lessons, artist interviews, music memorabilia, classic albums. We do all kinds of stuff centered around the almighty guitar on this channel. Today we have a real awesome piece. This is a virtually unplayed 1971 Gibson Les Paul Gold Top Deluxe. This is just beautiful, in beautiful shape. It's like immaculate. There's no nicks on it anywhere. It's literally just unplayed. The story goes that this is your typical, you know, it was bought for somebody's kid. They played it a couple times thinking they were going to take lessons, and it sat under the bed for a million years. And private owner brought this one in today, and like I said, it's just immaculate. There's not a scratch on it. It's untouched, all original frets. So we've got the Gibson logo and mother of pearl up here, Les Paul silkscreen logo, deluxe truss rod cover that you would see on these, rosewood fingerboard, trapezoid inlays on here, three-way toggle. We've got the awesome mini humbuckers we're going to talk about more in a second, and these are actually embossed with the Gibson logo on there. ABR1 style tunematic bridge, stop bar tailpiece, and then we've got the labeled gold top hat knobs there, 2-volume, 2-tone on this beautiful gold finish. Let's talk about a couple things here for a second. 1969, the Les Paul Deluxe was released. At that time, the Norlin era had ushered in, and Norlin had bought out Gibson, and a lot of things took place in 1969. The Les Paul Deluxe was originally released. This is a 1971, and a lot of things came about too, which we'll look at more when we see the back of this, like the volute on these, which was put on to supposedly strengthen that really weak spot there. Gibson guitars are notorious for the headstock snapping off if this happens to get hit or fall off a stand or something like that. So starting in 69, they tried the volute, and it didn't really prove to be strengthen the joint there at all. So they kind of discontinued that eventually. By the late 70s, you kind of saw a lot of that stuff on its way out. And three-piece mahogany neck. Like I said, we'll get a look at this when we go take a close-up look at this in the case, like we always do. Awesome mini humbuckers. Gibson bought the Epiphone company in 1958, and Epiphone was the first ones that actually made the mini humbucker, which essentially is just like a humbucker, but it's mini. It's got a chimier sound to it. We'll kind of check that out more when we take this for a test drive here in a minute. But story goes that in the late 60s, when they reissued the Les Paul again, because the British guitar players and American guitar players like Mike Bloomfield, Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, Peter Green were all bringing the popularity of the Les Paul back. You got to remember when it initially hit, and when the first runs of the Sunbursts and whatnot came out in the late 50s, 58, 59, 60, they weren't popular, and that's why they were discontinued. And then, like I said, flash forward about 10 years, and the British and American guitar players, the whole blues rock boom was happening, and all of a sudden everybody wanted a Sunburst. So that's what these were when they first came out. The Deluxes were issued in Sunburst in 69, and then they started making gold ones. This is a 1971. Now, usually when you see the embossed Gibson pickups with the logo on the pickups there, like you see on this one, it's a heads up that it's probably a 1972. But if you look into it, Gibson started doing the embossed pickups in late 1971, and that's what this is. This is a late 1971. We ran the serial number on this and checked with Gibson and whatnot, and they did that well into 72, and then they discontinued them because the story was it's a little bit too cost effective to, you know, put that emblem on all of the pickups, and so they wanted to get rid of that. But when they did start making the Les Paul again in the late 1960s, like we said, because of the blues rock boom, they was actually the P90 version, so they had a ton of these bodies. So then when they started making the Les Paul Deluxe, they wanted something that could fit these bodies that were already routed for P90s like this one is. So since Gibson bought Epiphone in 1958 and Epiphone was already making the mini humbuckers, as you can see, they started using those, and the mini humbuckers fit right into the shell there of a P90 style, and it fits right into the body. And like I said, Deluxe is a beautiful example of a 71, like I said, virtually unplayed. To me, they just have a chimier sound to it. I mean, everybody's got a word that they use to describe how they think the pickups sound. Playing like open chords, it just sounds very chimey. And then even your lead stuff, has a real throaty quality to it, but it's still got that chimey. I mean, I just love mini humbuckers. They have such a great tone. And of course, whenever you see a Les Paul Deluxe, you know, it's got the mini humbuckers in there. But make no mistake, this thing these mini humbuckers can give you full volume as well. Yes, this is great stuff. The other thing with these, they all had the pancake body. You can kind of see the line right there in the center of the body. Gibson started doing that along in the Norlin era again as well, came along, and the story goes that originally when they started doing that, it was said to strengthen the body, but truth be told, they were using, you know, thinner pieces of mahogany. You could get two thin ones, glue them together, do the pancake body, and now you have a full body. So it was actually cheaper. So a lot of cost cutting and stuff went around there in the Norlin era, and for years they had a bad reputation. Kind of still do with a lot of people, but there's some great guitars that were put out in the Norlin era. This is definitely one of them. But you know, when the Henry J era came in like the mid 80s and all through the 90s, that was Henry just was not about any of that. He wanted to get rid of a lot of that cost cutting stuff that Norlin had done. But like we said, truth be told, the pancake bodies and the volute and all that kind of stuff were out before Henry J got in there anyways. But so a lot of times the Norlin era is kind of remembered for that, the cost cutting stuff, which is a shame because, like I said, a lot of the guitars are awesome, and I don't mind the pancake bodies at all, but they certainly are heavy. they are way heavier than, you know, bodies that aren't pancake bodies for sure. But so great guitars. Let's check this one out in the case and get some closer looks at this one and see what we got going on here and check it out. Here we go. Okay, so here is the case for the 1971 Gibson Les Paul Gold Top Deluxe. No way is this the original case. Not even close. I know that for a fact because these are actually newer style Gibson cases. This is being recorded in 2024. I actually like these cases a lot. I like the latches on them, and these are just great cases. But the private owner actually put this in it because the original case does not come with it. Original cases for these would have looked like this. I'll throw a picture up here real quick of what those would have looked like, or do look like if you find one, which would be your early 70s Gibson cases. But unfortunately, this one does not have it. And this is exactly what you want to do. Get yourself a nice, high-quality case here. This happens to be an authorized Gibson case, so this is exactly what you would want, even though it's not the original case, but just beautiful and works real well with this guitar. Okay, so let's get right in here on this. Full shot. That's just beautiful. And nice gold top. Like we said, virtually unplayed here. 1971. I mean, this is just crazy. Let's kind of hit this with some light here real quick. It's just like amazing looking at this. It's always amazing to me too. We get that strobe effect going on here, but having light on here helping out. Just get down here and get some close-ups of these Gibson embossed pickups. I just love those mini humbuckers. Like we said, they did that pretty much throughout 1972, so most of the time when you see those on a Gibson, you automatically assume that it's a 72, but this happens to be a late 1971. This is, as far as we could tell, one of the first models that these embossed pickups were put in, which makes it even that much cooler. So those ran with Gibson from about late 71 through 72. And then, like we said, it got a little bit too expensive for them to keep on doing it. But mini humbuckers originally came out of Epiphone. Gibson acquired Epiphone in 1958. They had these bodies which were routed out for P90 pickups, and those mini humbuckers fit right in the shell there perfectly, and that's why they started using those on Les Paul Deluxes. But as you can see, there's some checking going on like over there and on the edges, but that's just natural age. There's literally no nicks or anything on this body. It's crazy. But all right, let's kill the light here for a second. Okay, so this is definitely a three-piece body. Yet another thing that Norlin did in their era. I'm trying to get it in the light here. You can see right there, there's a seam. I'm trying to really catch the light here so you guys can see it. But basically what you have here, because of shrinkage and just age with the nitrocellulose lacquer, which, you know, naturally happens, but you can see it pretty good there. There's a seam, so that would be one piece of maple. Then we'd have this here, and then you'd have another strip on this side, which I'm not sure if I can really get this one in the light or not, but it's definitely there. But you can see this one for sure, and that's what that is. So this is not a two-piece maple top, which is what you traditionally have on a Les Paul, and which is the most desirable. Yet again, this was another Norlin era thing where they were trying to cost cut, so they would do a strip of maple here, a strip of maple here, and here, and you'd get the three-piece tops going so that you could, you know, obviously use smaller pieces of maple and get one giant top versus a two-piece. But any Les Paul that's built today that you want to be traditionally like a Les Paul that are most desired, like the ones in the 1950s, would have your seam right down the center, and you're going to have a two-piece maple top. But this one definitely has the three. You can see that seam right there, and that's what you had going on the original Les Paul Deluxes, which this is from 1971. And I'll just get in on this more. Let's get some close-ups of those humbuckers without the light strobing on them. We got all original Gibson bridge there, ABR1 style, stop bar tailpiece, 2-volume, 2-tone controls with the bleeders on there, gold colored knobs there, labeled volume and tone on the front as well. All original pick guard. It's just crazy the condition this thing is in, being a 1971. Unreal. Like I said, the story is that this was purchased from someone who bought it for their kid to learn how to play on, and it basically sat in the house under the bed unplayed all these years, so it's pretty crazy. Rosewood fingerboard there with the trapezoid inlays, and you can kind of see these are all original frets. And if you get up here in the first 3 frets, which is usually where you'll find the most wear, I mean, there's like nothing there. I mean, those frets are brand new. They're just not even, I mean, even D chords and stuff have not been strummed on this guitar. It's crazy the shape this thing is in. There's the awesome Gibson headstock with the deluxe truss rod cover. I always love that font. You will see those, of course, on the Deluxe, and the Gibson logo here at the top. All right, let's flip this over, get a look at the back, and want to get a look at the sides too, so we can check out that pancake body. Okay, so another thing Gibson started doing in 1969, right around this time, you started seeing that Made in USA stamp showing up. That was right around the time they started doing that as well. We got the Clusen style Gibson Deluxe tuners on there, and that is a 3-piece mahogany neck, and you can clearly see there the 3 strips of wood. And that was right around the time this started being done too, as well as the volute right here, which was also when they started using that. So 1969 there, late 60s, early 70s, a lot of change going on at Gibson. Unfortunately, a lot of it was to go into the direction of cost cutting, and that's why a lot of these features you ended up seeing go away sooner or later. But you can also see the 3-piece neck there as well with the 3 strips of wood. But again, that mahogany just in fantastic shape, no nicks, nothing going on here. Mahogany back, and like we said, that is part of the pancake body. We're going to flip it over here and take a look at that in a second. Some more control cavity there for the 2-volume, 2-tone, and the control cavity for the 3-way toggle as well. Check this out. This was actually added on for sure. So you've got the original strap button over here, and you've got one that was put on here, so in case you didn't want the strap to go on the side, you could always run it down the back, which is what you would have on, say, like a Gibson SG, has them in the back like that. So someone definitely added that early on. The metal looks pretty aged, so it has been on there. I would have to say the original owner put that on very early on to help out, and at this point, you might as well just leave that on. It's part of the guitar at this point. But that's the only thing that I could really say has been altered, if you want to use that word about this guitar. But again, front or back on this channel, we always use strap tight. Check out our friends at straptight.com. Stop altering your guitars. Stop dropping your guitars. Throw on a strap tight and you are done. The ultimate strap lock system, so check them out. Simple and easy to use. All right, let's flip this over, get a look at the side. We can check out that pancake body more. Okay, so there's a good shot right there. You can clearly see. So you've got a maple top, obviously, which is up here, and then we have mahogany, and then you can see that strip right there, that thin strip. That's another strip of maple, and then you have another piece of mahogany, hence the term pancake body. Like I said, when Norlin started using these around 1969, the story they were saying was it strengthens the body, but through the years it's kind of been come to be known that that didn't really strengthen the body. It's a solid piece of mahogany, so how much strengthening can you really need here on a body? I mean, truth be told, a solid piece is much stronger than this, but that's exactly what they were going for, a smaller piece of mahogany, and a smaller piece of mahogany kind of junk that you can't use unless you put them together with this strip of maple in here, and now you can use that and make one body. I don't have a problem with them. They've kind of taken on a new life in 2024. A lot of people actually look for these, and they're fine, and this is what you want to see on an original, Les Paul Deluxe, which is what this is, from 1971, but ultimately by the late 70s, these were gone, and Gibson wasn't doing that anymore. But that is what a pancake body is. There's our original output jack. Screws have aged there nicely. Got a little crack going on here, but that cream cover, that's all original. Binding is yellowed on here as well. Like I said, no nicks, nothing as we go along the pancake body there. And even just the side of the neck. I mean, this thing is immaculate. Just crazy for 1971. Like we said, virtually unplayed. All right, let's get one more full body shot of this beautiful guitar. Okay, so there we go. Full case shot of the all original, virtually unplayed Gibson Les Paul Gold Top Deluxe 1971. Just awesome. Like we said, it's always great to find guitars in this kind of condition, and what a beauty. Okay, guys, so there we go. Some close-ups in the case of this beautiful 1971 Les Paul Gold Top Deluxe. Let's take this for a test drive, kind of check out the tones out of these mini humbuckers, and it just sounds fantastic. Check it out. Here we go. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for checking in and joining me today for our review of the all original, virtually unplayed 1971 Gibson Les Paul Gold Top Deluxe. Comment below, you guys. Let me know what you think. If you played one of these, I know Gibson reissued them a few years back, and you can get the newer ones, which are awesome too. I believe we have one of those coming in. And thank you so much to the private owner for letting me borrow this today for the review. Let me know what you guys think. Do you own one? Do you want one? Have you played one? Find me on Facebook at Todd Beebe Music. Please hit that subscribe button in the lower right-hand corner. You know I appreciate it and help me out. And we will see you all again. Thank you once again for joining me today. Stay safe and love your dogs. Take care.